My name is Racheal Mutesi, and I am married to Calvin Mukiza. I come from Kampala, Uganda, and currently the national leader for the Message Uganda. I am both an evangelist and a social worker, so I tell people about Christ, but also practically get involved in helping people, practically, especially those living in poverty.
That's wonderful to hear. So Racheal, tell us a bit more about the ministry, the things that you do for God, whilst also earning some money as well as a social worker.
Yes, so currently I am serving with the Message Uganda, and the Message exists. We are part of a global network of evangelists that are passionate about taking the gospel to young people in hardest to reach neighborhoods. Usually these are bad young people the society has written off, probably ex-offenders, sometimes those living in really big poverty. So the ministry started in Manchester with a man called Andy Hawthorne, and he was targeting young people in that part of the world. But over the years, the ministry has grown with the hub that started in South Africa. In Africa for 10 years it's been running. And this year we are launching the Message Uganda. So I'm the first person to launch the work there. Currently we have 3 people on staff, and we are already serving. We are in schools already. We have reached about 12 schools so far, and seen close to 2,000 children already and teenagers give their lives to Christ. But we are in churches doing leadership training and stuff. And on the personal level, I also help run another ministry that is engaged in helping victims of sex violence and abuse. And through that ministry particularly, I've also tried to adopt 12 children that we help and serve and protect them from their communities where they've been
Shall I ask her
abused.
just to say that again? How many children have you adopted?
12.
12 children. Do they all live with you day by day in your home?
No, we have them in boarding school during the school term and have them back during the holiday time.
Right. And tell us a little bit about the boarding school, because people will be interested to know.
So usually the children, for example, that we have will experience abuse, particularly from family members, but also such children are already living in real poverty. So some of those have been homeless. I'll tell you one, an 8-year-old whose mother passed on, and the father, who is a big alcoholic, decided to trade her into a bar for her to sell local alcohol in exchange for his alcohol. And she would sleep on benches, and she would automatically be abused. And so for such children, then we get them. But because we have a smaller place and I have a full-time job, we try to work with the Christian school where they go and are kept. At the boarding school, they're able to receive the education, they're able to receive food and everything, and then they are safe. And when it's time for them to return home like other students, they come back home. Now you would think that's a crazy decision because boarding school in the West are expensive. In Africa, it's totally different. It's easier to feed and take care of children in a boarding school than it is to have them commute every day. And so that's why we've taken that decision. But also it gives us an opportunity to take them out of the community, because we live in a slum community, take them out of the slum community and put them in a place where the perpetrators cannot get them as with much ease than if they
Safer
stay,
place to be.
into the place.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Thank you. We're going to hear a lot more from Racheal after the service, and I do hope many of you can stay. We're going to serve tea and coffee from the back so that you can just grab your drink and come and sit back down again at the end of the service. And Racheal will tell us more of her story. She's got a fair bit to tell, really. There's a lot of story. There's a lot of story. So we will hear more, but for now, Racheal, tell us how can we... Well, first of all, how can we find out more about the Message and the Message Uganda?
Yes, so if you go on the internet and go type www.messageuganda.ug, you will find everything you need to know about the Message. We're also on Facebook as the Message Uganda. At the moment, we are planning a festival where we're targeting 10,000 young people that is going to happen in December between the 12th and the 14th. In a place called Bombo. Again, if you type Festival Bombo, it will lead you to a page where you'll get a lot of information about what we are doing in there. And we are just very excited and hope that many people can rally with us and support us and pray for us. And so thank you so much for opening that opportunity.
And you have a few brochures, flyers that you can people can pick up later?
Yes, that's right.
Good, good. And then tell us a bit more about how we can pray for you, because we're a congregation, group of people, church, who believe that prayer is powerful. And so we want to know what sort of things should be asking God for you personally, but also for the Message Uganda?
I think as we roll out, first of all, we're praying for wisdom to know which places to knock. Many of us will know that Africa is a continent of Christians. In fact, Uganda has 80% of people claiming to be Christians. But many of these are nominal Christians, are Christians by name, not necessarily Christians in practice. And so we are praying and hoping that God will lead us to the right people, be faithful stewards in terms of discipleship, and make sure that we're doing the job right, not just to fill the numbers, but faithfully serving and leading people the right way. We're also praying for churches. The challenge with working with a global organization, it is like people think that they're to receive, especially in our world where poverty, material poverty is a big thing. We are praying that God will lead us to people who want to support and not only to take away from what we can offer as a ministry. We're also praying that many people will come to the knowledge of Christ, especially young people. And we are working particularly in a place of Bombo, which I'll tell you later on, maybe after the service. But it's a place that has seen war, and there were times when even if you're walking around the streets, you could walk around and find skulls because so many people had been killed in that particular area. And God has sent us there, and we are hoping that God will raise a mighty army, and that place will no longer be a place of skulls, but a place where people know and love the Lord. And so please pray that God will open. But that particular place also is home for the Nubians. And Nubians are cultural Muslims. They're one of the most unreached people in Uganda, and yet the church is silent about that. So we are hoping and praying that we can reach such a community.
Can we just get that word right? Nubians or
Nubians.
Nubians? Nubians.
N-U-B-I-N. So they're
Nubian.
Nubians. Yes.
Lovely. Okay. Thank you very much for those prayer pointers.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the microphone from you and wish you well. And then our dear friend Dorothy is going to come up and lead us in prayer now. So we'll hand over to her. Thank you.